press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, today we are going to take on the first chapter of your history section, that is sources, and in detail we are going to discuss what is there in this lesson, how have we derived or how have we known about the history that was there in the past. History is knowing something of the past, isn't it? How was it possible for us to understand what was there in the past? Who are the people who have contributed to what has happened in the past? All this will be dealt, okay? We are going to study the sources that were there. Sources as in from where did we get, from where do we know that history is there? That is, if there was attack that happened, how do we know? We know it through some written form or somebody has told it, okay, that is the source. So we will study what are the different kinds of sources. Then we are going to study importance of the archaeological sources, that is whatever is kept as old is archaeological sources. Importance of inscriptions. Have you seen when you've gone to caves and other places, something is written on the cave, isn't it? Now those are inscriptions, some are written in paper, some are preserved, some are not preserved, okay? And importance of oral sources in history, that is from mouth to mouth. I tell you a story and you are telling it to somebody else, in a few years time it is going to become history. So all this will be dealt in this chapter. But for today's class we are going to go into an introduction of the chapter along with the literary sources that are there. What are literary sources and the different types of literary sources? Let's take the introduction first. Now, what do you really mean by history? History is the study of the past. It is given systematic study of the past. That is, thoroughly you are knowing through some kind of understanding, you are making certain plans, you are making some, you are collecting information, you are gathering it, and then you are systematically planning. You are planning something and then it goes according to that plan, and that is systematic study of the past. So history is the systematic study of the past. Okay, history is the systematic study of the past. Next, how do we get to know where our history is? Based on sources. Okay, let's see what the sources are. We collect history based on sources. Alright. Now, if there is no source, that is if there is no information available of the past, then we don't know history, isn't it? If we have to learn of how India got independence, somebody should tell us, isn't it? Otherwise, how will we know? We have not fought for the independence of India, isn't it? We have not been in that struggle, so we don't know. We have to know it through stories, we have to know through books, we have to know through people who have to narrate that story, and then we will understand the facts. So there is no source, there is no history. Okay, no source, so no history. Now, the people who collect this history are called as historians. Now, who treat the patients is called a doctor, who is teaching you in school or college is called a teacher, okay. So, different professions have their names, isn't it? The one who is fighting your cases is called a lawyer, an advocate, alright. The people who collect and tell us this information of the past are called as historians. Now these are the people who give us information of the past. Now what do these historians do? They collect sources, that is information that is there. They collect sources, they find out what is important in that, okay, they examine it, alright, then they make an analysis, they make a study of what they have brought. Analysis, and then they frame it in a book or frame it in an article, frame it in whatever way they want, and then they write history. Okay. So what are they doing? They are going and collecting information from all the places. We will study what are the different kind of sources. So they are going to collect information. They are going to ask people, or they may go to some old places and understand the structure there. If there is an old person there, they will ask them. Then if there is something written on these caves, on the walls there, they will collect all the information. If they find something underground, okay, that also is a form of a source for them. What do? They collect all this and then they examine it, they check, and they make a clear understanding, okay, like your experiments you do in the lab. Okay, why do you do it? In order to get some result, isn't it? Now there is a lot of process that is going on in making an experiment. Now they have got some things, okay, they have to put it together, so they examine what is needed, what is important, which age did it belong to, all that they do, and that also forms a part of this analysis that they do, and final they get a result, or they prepare a result as in to say that this was belonging to this era, these people existed there, this was the important occupation of the people there. Okay, that is how they write it. Now sometimes direct sources are not available. Direct sources as in, if you dig the ground you would not get anything. Maybe that is one kind of direct source. Another direct source is maybe some person you want to talk to. That direct source is not there. When those direct sources are not there, what they have to do is they have to make assumptions. Assumption is they have to think on their own. They have to do guesswork. Okay, they have to assume saying that, okay, this may have been like this. Okay, this has maybe impacted this, what is there here, and that has resulted in making of other things in history. So they have to think, they have to simply make some guesses. So when direct source is unavailable or not available, okay, they have to make assumptions. Sometimes they have to guess that it may be possible, or this could have been like this. Okay, so they make assumptions like this based on whatever they get. Let's see what are the different things later. Now, history was knowing something of the past, isn't it? Now after a few years, today's day will also be in the past. So whatever has happened yesterday is also past, today is happening is the present, and what's going to happen is in the future. But what has happened from the past, some things have still remained, some things are still there, and these things have given us an idea, or these things have given us a chance to know what has happened before we came into this world, or what has happened to many other things which we didn't get a chance to see. Okay, maybe that has affected the living today, or it was a kind of information that we got that, okay, our olden ancestors or olden day people have done such kind of work. Okay, now whatever has been remained, okay, the things that were used by humans, things used by people, things used by people in the past, okay, which have remained now. If they have used some vessels, or if they have used some weapons, okay, those things that have remained in the past, historians consider them to be sources. That is what is available for me. Now you are reading your textbook, that is a source of knowledge. You are trying to get information from some other place, that becomes your source. Okay. So I hope you understood this much. Let's move further. Let's see what may be left by people in the past, what they have left for us, and what may be called as sources, and things that historians consider to be sources. One such is agricultural tools. Now farming and the agriculture sector was very prominent, and that is why agricultural tools that they may have used at that point of time can be considered to be one of the sources that is available. All right. Agricultural tools, then coins, okay, the old forts that are there, then inscriptions, arms, that is weapons, arms, okay, temples or other religious places are few of the sources that historians consider. That is agricultural tools left by the people, the coins, okay, the forts, the inscriptions, the arms, that is weapons, and the temples or other religious buildings, or any religious or any building of the past can be considered as a source. Okay, historians take few of these examples to be sources. Now there are written documents. Some written documents can also add on to be sources. Something may be written, not fully available, but at least in small parts. Few pages may be available, few pages may not be available. When those few pages are not available, they have to make a guesswork. Now, few things may be available to them, isn't it? At that time, they have to take some information from that and then make guesses as in that this may have been written, okay, this was the thought of the author there, that in case it is not available. In case it is available, that is a full fledged source that they have. Now, the materials that are needed for writing these sources, okay, I'll write it like this for you. Materials needed for writing of history, okay, in order to write history, the materials that you needed, these sources are called as primary sources, okay, primary sources. Now all that you collect is your primary source, and then whatever you write, whatever you assume is all secondary. Alright, first hand whatever you get is your primary source. Now this primary source can be divided into two: literary sources and archaeological sources. Okay. Literary is anything that has been recorded or written. Now literary is also divided into two, that is written and oral. Today we will see literary, and in the next class we go to archaeological. Now see literature, okay, anything that is being written down or anything that is being told, that is written and old. Do you understand? See the point from here again. Anything that you have collected, that first hand you get, okay, or any document that you have got which is being written is primary sources, and then you modify it. So primary sources are divided into two, literary and archaeological, okay. Now literary is divided into written and oral, alright, written and oral. Now archaeological sources are old things that you find, may not be on the surface of the earth, but it can be when you dig down under the earth, okay, there may be hidden things down below the earth. So archaeological we will study in the next class. Today we are going to focus only on literary, what is written and what is oral. Simple as it is, written is whatever is being noted down, whatever is being taken down, okay, it is preserved. Oral is what is being passed through the mouth. Now, let us get into written literature. Now, understand literature, any text that is written is literature. Maybe 2 lines, maybe 4 lines or more than that, maybe 1000 lines also. Anything that is being written down is a part of literature. Even your ticket, have you seen your ticket, any ticket, okay, railway ticket or whatever ticket it is, text that is being written down, you at least they will write from where to where you have to go, what is your destination, okay. That also forms a part of literature. Any text that is written is a part of literature. Now, literature, written literature is one of the main sources of, for the historians, okay, one of the main sources of the literary sources. Written literature is easily acceptable because it is written, it is noted down, people may have done their research, okay, and that is how they have got into bringing it. Now written literature, one of the main sources of the literary sources, that is what we divided it into, isn't it? Literary into oral and written. Now literature, literature can make us understand what the author was doing at that point, or in which era did the author live. Now see, anybody who is writing will write according to the age that they are living in. Now if you and I are writing a book, we will write according to the present understanding of our society, isn't it? Experiences that we have. Will we write of something that has happened 50 years ago? We don't know what's happened 50 years ago, isn't it? Will we write what's going to happen the next 20 years ahead? We don't know what's going to happen. So what are we going to write? In case we are writing a book, what are we going to write? We are going to write only our experiences and what is happening around us. If you have to write a story, or if you have to write a poem, if you have to write anything for that matter, you will write it only based on the era, that the age that you are living in. isn't it? Same way, these written sources that were there, they help us understand which age or which time frame did the author belong to, and from there you can collect sources as to which at which age did this kind of events happen, or these kinds of achievements were done according to the understanding of whatever the author has written. Now, literature can make us understand the social life of the writer, that is where he was belonging to, what was happening at that time then he was there. Now, this written literature that is there, it is again divided into two. Okay? Again divided into two, that is native literature and foreign literature. Literary sources were divided into written and oral. First is primary source, okay? Understand it like this. Primary source was being divided into literary and archaeological. Okay, did you get this much? Primary was divided into literary and archaeological, alright. Now, literary was divided into written and oral. Okay, literary was divided into written and oral. Now, written is being divided into native and foreign. Okay, written is being divided into native and foreign. Here, native and foreign. What is that? Written is being divided. Now, let's see native literature first, and then let's go to foreign literature. Native literature. What is native? Have you heard anybody saying, where is your native? Okay, your place you belong to. Okay, originally place where you belong to. Now, native and foreign. Native is what has happened in our land, foreign is what is outside. Understand that basic meaning. Native is what has happened in our land, what people have contributed in our land, and foreign is whatever has happened outside our land. So, here we understand in terms of Indian literature that is there. Okay, now understand this literature that is created by whom? By Indians. Is native literature. Our authors, okay, our writers, our people in India who have contributed are called as native, who have contributed to this are part of native literature. Alright, now these literary works that are there, that have been written in our own native languages, okay, our own widely spoken, whatever we speak is our, whatever language we speak becomes a part of the native language that we speak. Now, a few of the languages that have been very prominent in this is Sanskrit, Prakrit, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, okay, Marathi, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Oriya, and many other languages that are being spoken in India, okay. Sanskrit, Prakrit, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Oriya, and many other languages that have been, we speak a lot of languages in India, isn't it? Because of the diverse culture that we have, we speak a lot of languages, and every language that is being spoken is considered as a native language. Now there are few examples of the writers who have written in these native languages. Let's see who they are and what they have written. Alright, now few of them are Kautilya's Arthashastra. What is it? Kautilya has written Arthashastra. Okay, Kautilya's Arthashastra. King Hala's Gata Spatasati. Okay, split this word, otherwise it's difficult. Okay, Gata Spata Sati. Okay, Gata Spata Sati. Who has written it? King Hala. Vishaka Datta's okay, Vishaka Datta's Mudra Rakshasas. Okay, Vishaka Datta's Mudra Rakshasas. Kalhana's Rajatarangi. Okay, Rajatarangini, Kalhana's Rajatarangini. Then many other examples that have been mentioned, okay, in your textbook. Understand these few examples and few other in your textbook. Okay, Banabhatta's Harsha Charitra, Chandabadriya's Prithviraj Raso, and Pampa's Vikramarjuna Vijaya. All these literatures, all these works that have been written can be considered as native literature because people in our country have written it. Now, all these works that have been written and few that have been still mentioned in your textbook, okay, what did they tell us about? They told us about the social, economic, cultural, and political life of the people there. What did these works tell us? These works tell us how were people living, okay, social, economic, how did they have their occupation, what kind of elements did they do, what kind of profession were they in so that they could live their life. Cultural, what are the cultural practices, what are the traditions practiced, any rituals that were being practiced, the political situation, how did they administer their society there. All this has been put down in these works. Okay, they have tried to tell us about these things, that is social, economic, cultural and political aspects or political life of the people living there. They have tried to tell us about all these things. Now this is native literature. Now with this I want to stop it for today. In the next class we will go to foreign literature, oral literature and then archaeological sources. Till then, read this much and then we shall meet soon in the next class. Thank you students for listening.